Hello everyone, I'm Arter's CEO of Fastflow Finance. Over the last few years, I've spent a great deal of time thinking about one simple question. What kind of companies will shape the next decade? Most people immediately think about size. They assume that the biggest companies will naturally become the leaders of tomorrow. But history tells us something very different. The companies that shape the future are rarely the ones that simply become bigger. They are the ones that recognize change before everyone else does. If we look back over the last 20 years, we can see this pattern repeating again and again. Entire industries have been transformed by companies that were once considered too small to compete, not because they had more resources, not because they had larger teams, but because they saw the direction of change earlier than others. Technology has fundamentally changed the speed at which industries evolve. Today, innovation happens faster than ever before. Artificial intelligence is changing the way businesses operate. Blockchain is redefining how value moves across the world. Digital assets are becoming part of the global financial infrastructure. Automation is replacing repetitive work. And entirely new industries are emerging almost every year. In an environment like this, size alone is no longer a competitive advantage. In many cases, it can even become a limitation. Large organizations often struggle to adapt. Decision-making becomes slower. Processes become more complex. Innovation becomes more difficult. Meanwhile, smaller and more agile companies are able to respond much faster. They experiment, they learn, they adapt, and they continue moving forward. I believe that adaptability will become one of the defining characteristics of successful companies over the next decade. Not because change is becoming more frequent, but because the speed of change continues to accelerate. The companies that succeed will not be those that predict every trend correctly. They will be the ones capable of evolving alongside those trends. At Fastflow Finance, this philosophy influences many of the decisions we make. We do not try to build only for today's market. We think about where the financial industry will be 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and sometimes even further. That perspective changes everything. Instead of asking, what do people need today? We also ask, what will people expect tomorrow? Because by the time everyone agrees that a technology is important, the opportunity to become a leader has often already passed. Innovation is not about following change. It is about preparing for it. This is why we continuously invest in infrastructure, in technology, in processes, in people. Not because these investments always produce immediate results, but because they create the foundation that allows a company to grow sustainably over time. One of the biggest mistakes organizations make is focusing only on short-term performance. The next quarter, the next report, the next headline. Of course, short-term execution matters, but without a long-term vision, even strong companies eventually lose direction. We believe that sustainable businesses are built differently. They combine innovation with discipline, growth with responsibility, ambition with patience. Because lasting success is rarely created by reacting to every opportunity. It is created by consistently moving toward a clear vision. The next decade will almost certainly look very different from today. Technology will continue evolving. Financial markets will continue changing. Customer expectations will continue rising. The companies that embrace these changes will help define the future. Those that resist them may struggle to remain relevant. At Fastflow Finance, we choose to see change as an opportunity rather than an obstacle. Because every major transformation creates new possibilities for those who are prepared, and we intend to continue preparing, not only for the next year, but for the next decade. Thank you for your time, and thank you for joining us on this journey.